The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Better get bright, pal. We got a show to do. Then we got to figure out some way to collect that gate money. Get it to the Cook County Assessor's office as soon as they open in the morning.
Joliet, Jake and Elwood Blues. Two men with a mission and only 11 days.
Don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now. Beat! Feel it! Cut!
For me and the Lord, we gotta understand it. We're on a mission from God.
Lots of space in this mall.
Walking around every day playing games and taking scores. Trying to make other people lose their mind. Well, be careful you don't lose yours. Yeah, Clint.
How are you going to raise $5,000 in 11 days without ripping off somebody?
Dance to the jailhouse rock. Dance to the jailhouse rock. Dance to the jailhouse rock. Dance to the jailhouse rock.
I remain celibate for you.
Hit it.
My heart's calculating, my true love will be waiting. If my estimations are correct, we should be very close to the Honorable Richard J. Daley Plaza. That's where they got that Picasso. Yep.
Two guys come in here, black suits, black hats, one carrying a briefcase.
Yeah, I just sent him down there.
Thank you.
John Belushi.
You, how much for your wife?
Dan Aykroyd.
After the gig, maybe we could, hang out together.
James Brown.
I heard the sound in my car.
Cab Calloway. Ray Charles.
You know depreciation, man.
Carrie Fisher.
I must now kill you and your brother.
Aretha Franklin.
You're living with me now.
And you're not gonna go sliding around with your old white movement friends.
Henry Gibson,
He better pray the police get to him before we do.
and the Blues Brothers Band.
Let's go, boys.
The Blues Brothers.
Are you the police?
No, ma'am. We're musicians.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo.
I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Kyle, today we are going to be covering a movie that a lot of people were shocked that I had never watched before, a.k.a. Jackie Johnson from the Boone County Gel and Distillery. I think you were a little shocked. I think 80s Ease was a little shocked. I know Jason Bond was shocked. But, man...
Now we wish you hadn't seen it.
It's called The Blues Brothers. It should have been called The Booze Brothers.
Jeez, Jimbo. Jimbo.
Yeah, so I don't know what you guys made me watch, but this disaster of a movie. So, Kyle, it's going to be a long one because there's a ton of cast, there's a ton of notes, and I'm hungry and hangry. So let's get this over with so we can go get some food.
Just I can feel the excitement.
Feel the energy
Jimbo.
in here.
Feel the excitement, Jimbo. But don't worry, I'll take it over for you, and I'll make it long and bitter.
Maybe I need
by the end of
to.
it.
Maybe I need to get some of that Belushi cocaine that he was on this whole entire movie. Jeez.
I bet he had the good stuff too.
Oh, I know he did. That's in the notes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, Jimbo, we're going to cover The Blues Brothers, released on June 20th, 1980. Follows the story of Jake Blues rejoins with his brother Elwood after being released from prison, but the duo has just days to reunite their old R&B band and save a Catholic home where the two were raised, outrunning the police as they tear through Chicago. This film was directed by John Landis. The film was written by Dan Aykroyd and John Landis. Produced by Robert K. Weiss. Cinematographer was Stephen M. Katz. And editor was John Folsey Jr. Casting director was Michael Quinnage. And production designer was John J. Lloyd. Budget for this film was $27.5 million, or about $30 million, according to some notes we had later on in the show. But just for inflation, that'd be about $104.2 million today, or about $106 for the $30 million measure. Opening weekend, it made only $4.8 million. This movie had a rough weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah. But just for inflation, that'd be about $18.4 million. But then gross in U.S. and Canada, it made its money back and then some with $57.2 million. Just for inflation, would be about $216.9 million today. And then gross worldwide, where it made the big bucks, it made $115.2 million. Just for inflation, that'd be about $436.7 million today.
Now, Kyle,
so this movie made money despite your better efforts.
Let me ask you a question.
That's okay, Jim. I'll give you.
Would you consider this a cult classic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Even though it was successful, which is kind of like against cult classics sometimes.
Is it successful as Rocky Horror Picture Show?
At this point, probably it's up there, probably. And there's people who want to cosplay the Blues Brothers and also celebrate the Blues Brothers and watch it religiously.
As a matter of fact, Jackie Johnson and them are getting ready to have the Blues Brother movie playing and have a Blues Brother. They got the statues, remember? The
yeah. Of course, remember those statues. Yeah,
they're going to bring them out front and everything. So we'll post it on or have her post it on our Facebook
social medias
page when it is. So if anybody wants to go.
Sounds good, Jimbo. All right. I'm excited for them to do that. I think we get good time.
Why don't you show up then, Kyle, in your black suit?
I don't have a black suit, but I could show up. We'll see how it goes. I have to look at the time and factor it into my schedule. All right, moving on. We're going to cover some of the technical details of the film here. Technical details include... Oh my gosh,
right here. Back here. Right here.
Oh, there they are, Demo. Thank you very much.
I highlighted them for you, so hopefully maybe you would have saw that.
Yeah, exactly. I got caught up in their awards.
Which you haven't done yet.
Yes, exactly. Technical details. We have a runtime of 133 minutes or 148 minutes for the United States cuts, which I'm going to count here. So this movie is pretty lengthy, so I'm sure Jimbo suffered through all of it. Sound mix. This is a 4-track stereo film for the magnetic prints of the film, or a mono for the optical prints of the film. And finally, we have Dolby Stereo Surround Sound X for, I believe, the Blu-ray re-releases of the film over time. This is a color film. Aspect ratio is a 1.37 by 1 for the TV plays and a 1.85 by 1 for the theatrical ratio. The camera uses here were a bit of a non-standard. The Aeroflex 35-2 Panavision Super Speed Mark II and Ultra Speed Mark II lenses, and the Panavision Panaflex Panavision Super Speed Mark II lenses and Ultra Speed Mark II lenses. Film length is a length of 3,650 meters. Moving on to the awards, we're going to cover 2 wins and 1 nomination here. And the 2020, it was added to the National Film Preservation Board to be remembered for all time. And then for the 1984 Turkish Film Critics Association Awards, it was nominated for the CDA Award for the Best Foreign Film, which took place in 4th place. And then for the 1981 Motion Picture Sound Editor Awards, it won the Golden Reel Award for Best Sound Editing. So Best Sound Editing there for the Golden Reel Award. Booyah, good for them on that. Then next up, we're going to cover some of... Actually, we're going to move on to the cast, Jimbo, because the cast is huge. We have a cast of a lot of main characters and a lot, and I mean a lot, of guest characters. So I'm going to try and catch most of them. I don't know if I'll be able to catch all of them because there's so many cast members in here that I'm almost definitely going to skip some and miss a few others here, but I'm going to try and go as far as I can. So, starting off here, we're going to do kind of a list of order of appearance, not the actual list of the main cast itself. But here we have Tom Earhart and Gerald Walling playing prison guards we see in the opening of the film. Tom Earhart was in the film Silver Streak in 1976, and Gerald Walling was just in this film, The Blues Brothers, in 1980, respectively. Then first up, we have John Belushi playing the role of Juliet Jake. John Belushi was, of course, a huge actor for Saturday Night Live and also Jim Belushi's brother. And, of course, he was also the big comedy star in National Lampoon's Animal House in 1978. Next up, we have Walter Levine playing another prison guard. Walter Levine was best known for playing this film in the original Blues Brothers 2000, and reprised his role in Blues Brothers 2000 and 1998, respectively. Next up, we have Frank Oz playing the corrections officer. Frank Oz, of course, best known for his work on the Muppet Show, where he, of course, played Fozzie Bear and many other roles, and as well was responsible for doing the puppetry around Yoda in the original Star Wars. Then next up, we have Dan Aykroyd playing Elwood, the other Blues Brothers. Dan Aykroyd, of course, easily most recognizable for his roles in Ghostbusters, The Great Outdoors, Nothing But Trouble. A lot of great movies in his repertoire, too. Dan Aykroyd, an amazing comedy writer in his own right. Then next up, we have Kathleen Freeman playing the character of Sister Mary Stigmata. Kathleen Freeman was in such films such as Naked Gun, 33 1/3, The Final Insult in 1994, and the film Inner Space in 1987. Then next up, we have Cab Calloway playing the role of Curtis. Cab Calloway was in the film The Mask in 1994, and he was also in the film The Curious Case of Benjamin Button in 2008. Then next up, we have James Brown, a.k.a. the Godfather of Soul, playing the role of Reverend Cleophas James. I'm going to say Cleophas, I believe it's actually, Cleophas is actually the pronunciation of it. James Brown, of course, best known as the Godfather of soul music, and an amazing, musical performer throughout his entire life. Such films he also appeared in was Mr. Dynamite, The Rise of James Brown, and Django Unchained in 2012. Next up, we got Chaka Khan playing the role of choir soloist. Chaka Khan was also a musical artist in herself, and also appeared in the film Mission Impossible 3 in 2006, and Hollywood Homicide in 2003. Next up, we have Armand Sermi playing the role of Trooper Daniel. Armand was also in the film V in 1984 and California Suite in 1973. Then next up, we have Stephen Williams playing the role of Trooper Mount. Stephen Williams was also in the film Jason Goes to Hell in 1993, and he was in the X-Files television series from 1994 to 2002. Then next up, we have Stephen Bishop playing the role of Charming Trooper. Stephen Bishop was also in the film Tootsie in 1982, and he was also in National Lampoon's Animal House in 1973. Then next up, we have John Landis making a cameo appearance as Trooper Lafong. John Landis, of course, directed such films like The Twilight Zone, the movie, and Schlock in 1973, and many other films. Then next up, we have Gary McLarty playing the role of the character of Man in Toy Store. Gary McLarty was also in the film The Terminator in 1984 and Jurassic Park in 1993. Then we have Carrie Fisher playing the role of Mystery Woman. Carrie Fisher, of course, easily recognized the role as the role of Princess Leia, and I guess was she actually later called Queen? Oh no, General Leia in the after trilogy. But of course, in the original trilogy of Star Wars films, and then in the after trilogy, where she played General Leia for the longest time too.
Or was it General Solo?
General Solo. I don't know actually. I believe there was a kind of a divorce afterwards.
Oh, by the way, Jackie says, hi, Kyle. Because I told her, I said, you're making me watch this movie. Look. And I took a picture of the notes. And she's like, oh, I love it. I said, well, I'll tell him as soon as he catches his breath there doing the cast. I said, it's a big cast.
It is a very huge cast.
She said, huge cast. Have fun with that one, Kyle.
Yep. Next up, we have the legendary John Candy playing the role of Burton Mercer. John Candy, legendary actor, best known for his role in Plane, Trains, and Automobiles in 1987. Also many other films such as The Great Outdoors of Dan Aykroyd, Spaceballs, Uncle Buck, Delirious, just non-stop films. The guy was just amazing. Then next up, we have Tony Fleming playing the role of Mrs. Tarantino. Mrs. Tarantino. Tony Fleming was also in the role Above the Law in 1988. Then we have Murphy Dune playing the role of Murph. Murphy Dune was also in such films such as The Mothman Prophecy in 2002, and they were in the sequel of Blues Brothers, The Blues Brothers 2000 in 1998. Then we have Steve Cooper playing Steve the Colonel Cooper. Cooper. And he was in the sequel to The Blues Brothers 2000 in 1993. And we have Donald Dunn playing the character role of Donald Duck Dunn, who has also reprised his role in the sequel in Blues Brothers 2000, 1998.
Did you watch the Blues Brothers 2000, Kyle?
I never have. I know it's not as good as the first one, but I'm sure it has a cult following of its own. Probably not as big, though. But I've only watched the first film. I haven't watched the sequel.
Who took over for Belushi then? Was it John Goodman?
Don't remember. Let
me look that up.
Yeah, look it up. But they did have a replacement for him. Next up, we have Tom Malone playing the role of Bones Malone. Tom Malone reprised his role in Blues Brothers 2000, 1998. Then we have Paul Rubens playing the role of a waiter. Paul Rubens, of course, easily best known as Pee Wee Herman from Pee Wee's Playhouse from 1986 and Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the movie. And he also had that small role in Buffy the Vampire Slayer where he played a vampire.
It says Dan Aykroyd, John Goodman, Jay Bonifant.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Henry Gibson playing the role of Head Nazi. Henry Gibson was also in the film Nashville in 1975.
Oh, wow.
What's that?
So, just for Blues Brothers 2000, Kyle, Roger Ebert liked the first one, and this is his review in the Chicago Sun-Times. He says, quote, I always thought there was another story to be told, Landis says in the film's notes. Fine, then tell one.
Wow. Jeez. Harsh. Oh, wow. Spoilers for the end of the show, guys. We'll have Jimbo's thoughts for them go. Skipping over here, we're trying to hit some of the major stars here and hopefully not skip over anyone.
I was going to say, there is a ton of people in this movie.
There's so many that I kind of got to jump around a little bit here. So, many great performers. If you're not mentioned, it's not because I don't like you, it's just because I don't have much time. Next up, we have Aretha Franklin playing the role of Soul Food Cafe owner. Aretha Franklin, best known, of course, as an amazing musical performer, amazing singer, and just an all-around amazing musical artist. She also reprised her role once again for the Blues Brothers 2000 sequel in 1998.
We're going to have to put that on the summer sequels, I think, just so we have to watch it.
I wouldn't mind it. Oh, I got a pen there. Next up, we got Ray Charles playing the role of Ray. Who could that be? Ray Charles was also in the film Ray in 2004, the biopic based on his real life. Of course, Ray Charles is best known as being a blind pianist and an amazing musical performer in his own right as well.
God, do you remember the, I think it was Pepsi commercial, or Crystal Pepsi commercial, you got the right one, baby!
I've seen that one before too, yeah. Oh boy, if only he knew how bad Crystal was. And also Gemini Man in 2019, although I don't know about that. I had to look that up to myself.
I think that's a Will Smith movie.
I believe you're right, but I also wasn't Ray Charles passed away? In the back of my head, I'm almost sure that has to be the case. So how could he appear in that? But next up we have Steven Spielberg playing the role of Cook County Assessor's Office Clerk. Of course, Steven Spielberg, known as being a legendary director of such films such as Schindler's List and Jurassic Park and a ton of other films, because
E.T.,
Steven
Close
Spielberg.
Encounters.
Yeah, you can keep listing off movies and you're just like, yeah, you're right. Although you might throw a Scorsese in there by accident.
All right, I got a question.
You got a question, Jimbo? I'll give you an answer.
Which do you think is more legendary? Steven Spielberg as a director or John Williams as a composer? Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's like a cart and a horse, They kind of only work together. I mean, man, John Williams is really up there for me. But I think a film is not just made of its score. I think Steven Spielberg would have made great films if John Williams wasn't there. Although they wouldn't have been as great without John Williams.
There you
so,
it's like the chicken or the egg, huh?
It's a chicken or egg problem for sure. But I will say, I think Steven Spielberg probably more remembered as the guy who enabled John Williams to be such a great composer in many respects too. So I think Steven Spielberg has to take the trophy there, has to take the prize there in that scenario. But John Williams is incredible in his own right too. So Jimbo, what do you think?
John Williams.
John Williams. Okay.
I think John Williams might have more awards than Spielberg
I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case. Yeah, because he's just that good. That simply is. So cool too. So
people that write music and compose music, there's something special about them because it's just, you can even go out there and film a thing and have a good run like Spielberg, Kyle, but I can't see you composing anything.
It's an incredibly rare gift that John Williams has, and he continues to exploit it for his entire life. So
he's about 92 now or something.
Yeah, it's still working. So incredible guy, truly. Then next up we have, and last, Mr. T playing the role of Guy on the Street. Of course, Mr. T, best known as B.A. Baracus in the A-Team. He was also the main bad guy in Rocky 3. Where he could have been B.A. again, I don't even know. Yeah. But that's going to conclude the cast of The Blues Brothers for me, Jimbo. Jimbo, you probably want to give me some of those trivia notes as well, because we've got a lot to go through there.
Well, first I want you to I want to hear what Kyle has to say, because he's on something today. Kyle, I want to give me the full rundown of the movie.
Full rundown of the movie, Jimbo. Okay, I'm going to do the best
Kyle's on a mission from God.
On a mission from God, exactly. Yeah. I'll take the notes there. Thank you. Yeah. So Juliet Jake just got released from jail, and he promised that his Elwood, his brother, picks him up, and they both apparently Jake made a promise that he was going to visit
the orphanage.
She was going to visit Mary Stigmata at the orphanage after the day he got out, and sure enough, he does. And he goes there and finds out that the orphanage is going to be shut down because of an assessor's assessment tax of the estate. So they only have a few days. They have basically less than a week to raise. Was it $50,000? Or was it $5,000?
$5,000. 11 days, I think.
11 days to get $5,000 to do that. And they got to do it legitimately. They can't break the law.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want your money if you're
just going to rob somebody or commit a crime. So they got to do it legitimately. Yeah. And so at first, Jake is really dismissive. He's just not going to bother with it at all because, I'm just a selfish guy and all kind of stuff too. But anyways, Elwood and Jake go to church, and
and he sees the light,
and he gets a message from God to bring the band back together, and then proceed to do some gigs doing it that way. So that's cool. He does that, awesome. And so they go through this whole rigmarole of going to each and every band member, going where they've been in the past few years. I believe it's been 5 years since he's been in jail. So going back to the lives, and convincing him to go back and join the band. And each one of those scenes is either a trigger for a really good comedy bit or a scene for a good musical bit, and that's kind of like a flip flop back and forth there. Every comedy bit, then followed by a musical bit, then followed by a comedy bit, then followed by a musical bit, and they do that several times till they get the whole band back together, and then they have their first gig where they pretend to be the Good Old Boys, a country band
in Kokomo,
Indiana. And proceed to have a pretty great show, all things considered, because they play the what was the theme song from Rawhide.
Rawhide.
But they realize they drank more beer than they were ever being paid. So then they have to escape from the Kokomo, Indiana, and that one bar. And the good old boys actually show up and chase them down too, and they escape from them as well. So then they blackmail a bookie, basically, and get booked into a huge major venue. And then they get perform this amazing, massive show as they're being chased by the police, and Carrie Fisher being the mystery woman, and a bunch of other characters, and Nazis, and basically all the bad ne'er-do-wells of Chicago are on their tail. But they perform the show, and then a music producer offers them $100,000 up front and they take the deal immediately. Of course,
no, it's $10,000
up front. I'm sorry, I'm
just adjusting for inflation.
I'm adjusting for inflation. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, sure. Offers him $10,000, and he splits it in half. Gives $5,000 to his old band, so they get paid for that day. And then he races down, and then they go in this huge race, being chased by thousands and thousands of police cars and Nazis and good old boys and all that kind of stuff too, and go through this whole rigmarole trip all the way to get to the clerk's office and give them their $5,000 and then secure it. And as soon as that's done, they get arrested again and throw them back in jail.
And throw a jailhouse party.
Singing Jailhouse Rock. And that's the basic story of the Blues Brothers. Loosely.
It's about exactly what the movie is.
Yeah.
So
I did it again, Jimbo.
So
knocked out of the park.
I told you last night, I just finished watching the Blues Brothers last night. And I'm like, man, this is something else. So I as I was doing the notes, I know it was a bit on Saturday Night Live. So I pulled up some old Saturday Night Live videos of the Blues Brothers. And then I didn't know they actually had albums out of music too. So I pulled up some Blues Brothers music lists. So here I am deep in the rabbit hole till like 3 this morning. Why, I don't know, because it's not worth it. But let's dive into some of the notes to the Blues Brothers, and let's see what we can deduct from this disaster of a movie. The scene in which the band appears in the sauna, clad only in towels, is an allusion to the cover photo of the 1973 Blood, Sweat, and Tears music album, No Sweat, in which the band appears in a sauna in identical pose. Lou Marini and Tom Malone, 2 of the Blues Brothers band members, were also in Blood, Sweat, and Tears and appear in both sauna scenes. That's pretty cool, I think.
Interesting. Yeah. So a throwback to their SNL, kind of like, was that another album from a different band?
Well, Blood, Sweat, and Tears?
Yeah, Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
That's their own
music too, baby. Yeah. Awesome, cool. At the 24-minute mark, before Elwood is pulled over for the first time, Murph and the Magic Tones in their Cadillac are visible behind the Bluesmobile on the highway. The dive hotel Elwood and Jake go to looks just like the hotel room from Kirk Douglas was in when he was running from the bad guys in The Fury. And the scenes in the movie were in Chicago and next to the L trains. Dan Aykroyd's original script was so long that, as a joke, Aykroyd had it bound to the covers of the Los Angeles Yellow Pages.
Yeah, because he said it was like 324 pages or something, which I think it's in here too. So Elwood removes his hat 3 times in the film. At 37:05 when going to sleep in his room, at 1 hour and 47 minutes and 25 seconds to break the window to get into the Palace Hotel towards the end of the movie, and when the Bluesmobile falls apart. His sunglasses are removed once in the scene, including only in the extended version where he quits his job at the glue factory to become a priest. However, he is wearing clear safety goggles throughout this sequence. Jake is seen without his hat and sunglasses for the opening sequence in the prison until he is given them by the corrections officer. His face is not seen at this time. 1 hour and 59 minutes and 49 seconds into, he removes his sunglasses once, and only once, when he is talking to Carrie Fisher in the dirty tunnel, if you remember. But he never removes his hat the entire movie. Singer and guitarist Joe Walsh can be seen during the Jailhouse Rock sequence at the end. He still had long hair and a long mustache at the time, and he is the first prisoner to jump up on the table and start dancing. Is that the guy that does the split or the splits on the table too?
Yeah.
Poor guy. At the end, after the Universal Studios logo is shown, there is an ad for Universal Studios in Hollywood. Below, when in Hollywood, visit Universal Studio, it says, "Ask for Babs." Kyle, this is a running joke. The same appeared in National Lampoon's Animal House. Babs is an Animal House character for Babs Jensen, and it reappeared in the Blues Brothers 2000 underneath the new Universal Studios Hollywood logo at the end of the movie.
So a good running joke there. Yes. At the hour and 30-minute mark, after Jake and Elwood leave Bob's Country Bunker, they pass a billboard advertising the movie that see you next Wednesday. It also appears on the cinema sign behind where the Nazi Pinto crashes through the road. This is an Easter egg co-writer and director John Landis slips into all his movies as a homage to Stanley Kubrick. It's a line from 2001, A Space Odyssey. The star, SYNW, is listed in Don Sullivan, who appeared as Landis in Animal House. This line can also be heard as Michael Jackson watches his movie in the Thriller video, directed by John Landis himself. Director John Landis tries to insert reference to that fictional movie into all of his films. Graffiti
on the bridge under which the Blues Brothers hide their car during the show reads, "John Hart Deborah." This is a reference to John Landis and his wife, costume designer Deborah Nadoolman. The exteriors and many interiors at Daly Center were shot on location, including the shot of the Bluesmobile plowing through the courthouse lobby. In a 1998 interview for Universal, John Landis credited mob help for getting permission from the Cook County Board of Commissioners for this, alluding to the board being mob-controlled at that time.
Oh, wow. That's dark.
Yes.
Okay. This film was released on the same day as Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, which would explain why opening weekend it made next to no money.
So Carrie Fisher was in both of them in opening weekend.
And Frank Oz.
Yeah. Every time the window in Elwood's apartment is visible, a train goes past the window.
Jake's line is, well, thank you, pal. The day I get out of prison, my own brother picks me up in a police car. Is a subtle homage to the legendary comedy double act Laurel and Hardy.
Larry.
Laurel and Hardy. Belushi and Dan Aykroyd were both big fans of Laurel and Hardy as children, and as the film is also about a comedy duo underdogs with musical inclination, Aykroyd added the line to the script, and Belushi deliberately said it in the style of Oliver Hardy to acknowledge the influence.
Cool. A world record, 103 cars were wrecked during filming. The Junkman broke the record 2 years later, wrecking 150 cars and a plane. But that record held for 2 decades until over 300 cars were wrecked during the filming of what movie, Kyle?
The Blues Brothers 2000?
The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, darn.
So they crashed as many cars as they did.
The Matrix Reloaded crashed 300 cars?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I think that's
the highway signal.
The scene with the twins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bluesmobile is a 1974 Dodge Monaco. A total of 12 Bluesmobiles were used in the movie, including one that was built just so it could fall apart. Several replicas have been built by collectors, but only one original is known to exist and is owned by the brother-in-law of Dan Aykroyd. So,
this film was considered to be a box office bomb until it became a blockbuster in overseas markets. So, a big fan of overseas.
Paul Schaefer was an original member of the Blues Brothers band and was supposed to be in the film. According to Schaefer's memoir, he was also working on Guild Alive, and John Belushi fired him for being disloyal to the band. You're fired.
Olivia Newton-John was considered for the role of Mystery Woman, but she was unavailable as she was working on Xanadu.
Have you ever seen Xanadu?
She would have been great. Oh, yeah, Xanadu's great. With Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, I love her, too. During filming, James Brown got separated from the vehicle caravan and drove the Bluesmobile 100 miles west on Interstate 80 to Spring Valley, Illinois. When he stopped at a gas station for directions, he was arrested by local police for no registration, the plate was a prop, and no valid driver's license. A telephone call was made to the production. The set director was more concerned with the return of the vehicle than with the return of the actor.
That's funny. Ralph Foodie, who played the police dispatcher, was also in a fake black and white gangster movie, Angels with Filthy Souls, in Home Alone.
Yeah, remember that?
Filmed on location in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he was in Chicago police captain in Raw Deal. He's also a police dispatcher in this film. He also played police detective in Code of Silence.
Got 3 seconds to get your lousy, no good carcasses off my lawn or door or whatever. The interior for the Blues Brothers concert was the Hollywood Palladium. Audience members were recruited through radio station promotions. The exterior was Chicago's South Shore Country Club, located at 7059 South Shore Drive, which was later purchased by the city and reopened as the South Shore Cultural Center.
Oh, cool. In 2020, the film was selected as preservation for the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Director and co-writer John Landis said, having the Blues Brothers chosen to be included in the National Film Registry is both a great honor and delightful surprise. The film is a result of Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi's genuine passion for rhythm and blues and our mutual love of these great African-American artists in the city of Chicago.
Nice that was really cool.
Yeah.
John Belushi disappeared while filming one of the night scenes. Dan Aykroyd looked around and saw a single house with its lights on. He went to the house and was prepared to identify himself, the movie, and that they were looking for Belushi. Before he could, the homeowner looked at him and smiled and said, "You're here for John Belushi, aren't you?" The homeowner told them Belushi had entered their house, asked if he could have a glass of milk and a sandwich, and then crashed on their couch. A situation like that prompted Aykroyd to affectionately dub Belushi America's guest.
Oh, that's really wholesome and nice in kind of a way.
Not really.
What he did, he
said, "Woman, get in there and make me a sandwich and pour me a glass of milk," is what he said.
Probably. Maurice Line, Steve Lawrence's character, mentions Lake Wazapanini while telling the Blues Brothers where to perform their big show. Lake Wazapanini is also claimed by Curly Howard and Larry Flynn, Curly and Moe of the Three Stooges, respectively, as their birthplace in the Three Stooges short, No Census, No Feeling.
While filming of the opening scene, guards at the prison fired at the helicopter filming overhead shots thinking it was an attempt to spy on the structure. So they didn't get permission. They just flew over and they got gunshotted.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd was only 27 years old at the time of filming. John Belushi was just 30. Wow, I'm older than both of them at the time of this filming this movie. I could imagine making the Blues Brothers before I'm 30.
There is a director cameo, John Landis, the state trooper driving the second car, the one that shows up after the first car calls for backup, that chases the Bluesmobile throughout the shopping mall. Which, that's just ridiculous scene.
I think it was a great scene.
Of course you did.
My gosh. The destruction everywhere was great. Just an excuse.
After the concert, the state troopers chasing the Blues Brothers back to Chicago. The scene in which several troopers' cars crash off the highway embankment was filmed at a closed section of Illinois State Highway 53 in Palatine, Illinois. They had trouble getting the cars to flip over when they went down the embankment, so they dug a hole into the embankment to help the cars flip over as they hit it.
Nice. And naturally they tumbled down in a nice, cool way. Love it. In the opening sequence, one of the two guards escorting Jake has to be checked out of the prison is Jerry Orbach. He is a Broadway actor and most known as Baby's father in Dirty Dancing and as Lenny Briscoe on Law & Order. He unfortunately passed away in 2004.
Good actor. In the public restroom where the Good Old Boys frontman discovers the graffiti, an advertisement for the Blues Brothers shown at the Palace Hotel, the name Rick Baker can be seen written in red to the right of the illustration of Jake and Elwood. Baker was the special makeup effects artist for John Landis' first feature film, Schlock. Following the Blues Brothers, Landis called on Baker's talents once again for An American Werewolf in London and Michael Jackson's long-form music video, Michael Jackson
Thriller.
Some performers were not used to lip-singing to pre-recorded songs, standard procedure for movie musicals. James Brown ended up singing his number live with a recording backing. The rest of the choir was lip-singing. John Lee Hooker's performance of Boom Boom was recorded live at Chicago's Maxwell Street Market, and Aretha Franklin's performance is cut together from many takes using the parts where her lip-syncing was actually in sync.
While driving through the mall parking lot, Jake calls Elwood Motorhead. Later in the movie, a restaurant called Lemmy's can be seen inside the mall during the car chase scene. Lemmy, of course, being also Lemmy Kilmister, Lemmy was the singer for Motorhead, the band.
Yep.
Great band, great singer.
At 1 hour and 7 minutes and 4 seconds, when Carrie Fisher is in the hair salon doing her nails and reading the instruction manual for the flamethrower, the three pictures on the table are Fisher's character with Jake Blues. In every picture, Jake is wearing his sunglasses and hat. Because the entire time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, why is Carrie Fisher trying to kill these people with a rocket launcher, blows up the building?
C4, M16s. She has an entire arsenal behind her just trying to kill John Belushi.
And if she's like that, why couldn't she have done that in Star Wars and just blew up the Death Star herself? Is all I'm saying. Cab Calloway's basement room and Ray Charles music store framed photos of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, John F. Kennedy, and Robert F. Kennedy are on display. The framed photos are a tribute to the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
Awesome. According to the American Film Institute catalog entry for this film, concert attire worn by Roy Orbison inspired the outfits worn by the Blues Brothers.
What did Roy Orbison sing, Kyle?
I don't remember.
Pretty woman.
Oh.
The line, "They broke my watch," occurs 3 times in the film. Kyle, do you remember when they are?
No. Tell me, Jimbo.
The Broken Watch theme starts when Jake's broken watch is returned to him when he is released from prison at the beginning of the film. The first line in the shopping mall after the Blues Brothers get away in the rollover ditch. And the third is the pile up under the elevated train line.
No. In the steam room scene, Jake tells Marie they need $5,000, and Maurie's going, $5,000? Why do you think you are, the Beatles? This is a bit of an in-joke, as Saturday Night Live producer Lorne Michaels has gone on camera during the live 1976 episode to offer the Beatles $3,000 to reunite on the show.
Oh, man. Here we go. When Aretha Franklin is describing Jake Elwood to Matt Murphy, she says, "They look like they're from the CIA or something." The Blues Brothers' wardrobe of dark suits and sunglasses originated as Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi's costumes on a few Saturday Night Live episodes in which they played Secret Service agents guarding Chevy Chase's president, Gerald Ford. In those skits, they wore black suits and sunglasses.
Just before the good old boy's RV drives into the river, it passes by a building whose sign reads, Mr. Bill's Barbecue, referring to the popular Saturday Night Live short.
When Jake Blues is being processed for release from prison, the guard tells the clerk the blues is from the Maximum Wing Block 9. It's a reference to a song recorded by the Blues Brothers called Riot in Cell Block Number 9. Mm-hmm. There's a cameo by Paul Rubens, none other than Pee Wee Herman himself. He is the waiter serving Jake and Elwood when they go to find Mr. Fabulous.
When John Landis found out the film's budget was only $17.5 million, he half said jokingly, I think we spent that much already, guys. This comes out to nearly $60 million just for inflation today. So here it had another 40 or 67 million to go after that. Pretty funny.
Yep. When Jake and Elwood are stuck in traffic, backed up by the Nazi marchers, they ask a cop what is going on, and he tells them, those bums won their court case, so they're marching today. Elwood scoffs, Illinois Nazis, and Jake agrees, I hate Illinois Nazis. This is a reference to the mid-1970s incident in which the Nazi Party of America planned a public demonstration in Skokie, Illinois. The population of Skokie was not only heavily Jewish, but also contained an unusually large number of Holocaust survivors. After the local governments provided various implements to the Nazis' march, they eventually took the matter to the Supreme Court, which led to the 1977 decision in favor of the Nazis. The Nazis' First Amendment right to freedom of assembly. The group subsequently did hold several Nazi rallies, but in Chicago instead of Skokie.
Yeah, I hate Illinois Nazis too.
I just hate Illinois.
Jeez. At the time, it was one of the most expensive films ever made, costing $30 million. For comparison, Steven Spielberg's contemporary film, 1941, cost $35 million. It was even rumored that Landis and Spielberg engaged in a rivalry, the goal of which was to make more expensive film. It has been suggested that it was amicable since they were both friends at the time and they both had cameos in each other's films. Coincidentally, both films featured Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and John Candy. Unfortunately, Spielberg ended his friendship because of the fatal accident that occurred during the filming of the Twilight Zone movie, even though John Landis was acquitted for the court of criminal charges.
Yeah. You know what happened in that movie, right?
Yes, I do.
John Belushi was nicknamed the Black Hole because he went through hundreds of pairs of sunglasses during production. He would do a scene, then lose the pair before filming the next one.
You just throw out the window.
I don't know how. While at the phone booth, Elwood asked Jake, who you going to call? The same line became the tagline for Ghostbusters, which Dan Aykroyd wrote and in which he starred. Furthermore, the part of Peter Venkman, who initially was written for John Belushi in mind, though due to Belushi's untimely death, it went to Bill Murray instead.
Mm-hmm. When the Bluesmobile crashes through the window of the record store, a cardboard cutout of Robin Williams is visible, promoting his new album, Reality, What a Concept. Williams was one of the last people who talked to Belushi on March 5th, 1982, before the night of his tragic fatal overdose.
Little Richard was asked to appear and perform in this film. He declined because he was only performing gospel music at the time this film was made. Mm-hmm. According to Dan Aykroyd, many theaters in the American South refused to show this film because they felt that there were too many African Americans in it. Aykroyd believes the film would have done even better at the box office if not for the racism in the American South.
That's undoubtedly true.
Yeah.
That's terribly sad. Despite the racism, this film went on to become the 10th most popular movie in the U.S. and Canadian box office in 1980.
According to Dan Aykroyd, cocaine was included in the film's budget to help the cast and crew stay awake during night shoots. According to Aykroyd, John Belushi enjoyed it the most and felt that it enhanced his performance. And it also probably led to his untimely death, too.
Unfortunately, probably contributed to it for sure. That's incredibly sad in that respect. Dixie Square Shopping Center was used to film the shopping center sequence. Merchandise was purchased wholesale to stock shelves with whatever was not destroyed was returned. The sequence involved 300 collisions involving 120 cars, at which 60 vehicles were destroyed. Oh, wow. The production used 6 Pintos, 4 of which were wrecked, and 12 specifically outfitted Bluesmobiles before the Pinto could be dropped 1,400 feet or 120 stories in downtown Chicago. Chicago officials and the FAA required filmmakers to test drop 2 Pintos before they were allowed to drop the third one for the film.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. In the original script, the Illinois Nazis were trying to buy the orphanage and set it up as their new headquarters, which that probably would have been a better plot, I think.
Would have tied it all together a little more.
Yeah. John Wayne's son, Ethan Wayne, was a stunt driver in the film. So last week we talked about the Young Guns with, was it Patrick Wayne, I think? This is his other son, Ethan Wayne. The limousine scene outside the Chez Paul belonged to the owner of the restaurant. He almost had a heart attack when the stunt driver smashed through a letterbox on his first attempt at parking. Man.
At the Bob's Country Bunker gig, Jake introduces Stand By Your Man by saying it's his favorite of the horn section. The horn section doesn't play in the song at all.
Most of the chase scenes had to be filmed twice. The first times pedestrians had been cleared from the area for safety reasons. However, the lack of reference made the chases look fake as they had been sped up. They were filmed with extras to give a frame of reference. The woman on the cutting room floor, Shirley Levine, is in the credits as the mother of John Landis. So he put his mom in the movie.
Oh, that's nice of him.
2952 in the mall chasing, the woman who throws up cake in front of Davidson's is a deaf stunt woman, Kitty O'Neill. So that's pretty interesting that they had a deaf stunt. It was a good thing she went in the car chase.
Exactly, yeah.
Over 500 extras were used for the next to last scene, the blockade of the building at the Daily Center, including 200 National Guardsmen, 1 state and city police officers with 15 horses for the mounted police, and 3 Sherman tanks, 3 helicopters, and 3 fire engines.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the film was...
That's ridiculous.
There are spots in this film. This is just packed with people.
Yes.
That's great.
When John Belushi wasn't on set, he went everywhere in Chicago. When he did, everybody was slipping him vials and packets of Coke. This was in addition to what he could procure or have procured for himself, often consumed in his trailer or at the private bar on set that he had built for himself. His longtime friends, the cast, and any visiting celebrities. Carrie Fisher, who John Landis had warned to keep Belushi away from drugs if she could, said almost everyone who had a job there also dealt, and the patrons could and did score almost anything and everything there.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
On one occasion, John Landis went into John Belushi's trailer and found a gigantic pile of Coke on a table inside, which he flushed down the toilet. Belushi attacked him when he came back. Landis knocked him down with a single punch, and Belushi collapsed into tears. Landis denies that this ever happened, though. So, Universal kept trying to get the filmmakers to replace the blues and soul stars with more contemporary successful acts like Rose Royce. John Landis stuck to his guns, but because he did, some large theater chains refused to book it into theaters in white neighborhoods.
Oh my gosh. Talk about missing the entire point of the movie.
Yeah. Right before shooting the final scene, which required him to do all sorts of onstage acrobatics while performing at the Hollywood Palladium in front of the audience of hundreds of extras, John Belushi tried out some kid's skateboard and fell off and seriously injured his knee. Lou Wasserman, the head of Universal Pictures, called the top orthopedist in Los Angeles and made him postpone his weekend until he could shoot Belushi up with enough anesthetics to get him through the filming. This guy had all kinds of drugs in him, dude.
Yeah, and basically a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the popularity of the film boosted Ray-Ban's Wayfarer glasses, which were then experiencing some renewed popularity thanks to the rise of the new wave music movement. From a few thousand sold through the mid-1970s, sales rose to 18,000 during 1981, partly because of this film, bringing the motto out from the verge of withdrawal. Their later use was in the similar Chicago set Risky Business, starring Tom Cruise, solidified their renewed popularity. And I believe, last but not least, the following off-screen dollar amounts reflect inflation from 1979, the year of production and principal photography, adjusted for this is the year 2022, and it's since shot up more than that.
Yeah,
so
by fair amount.
Permission to film in downtown Chicago was given after John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd offered to donate $50,000 to charity for filming or after filming. This comes out to $178,684.15. Excuse me. Producers rented the Dixie Square Mall in Harvey, Illinois for the mall chase scenes. The mall had been closed for over a year. Rumors spread in the community that the mall was being refurbished and would be reopened after the filming was complete. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Kyle?
That's good you that one, didn't I?
Wow. I know it's not Kermit.
The frog?
Refurbished and would open up filming was complete. Universal was later sued for over $87,000, which is $310,910, for failure to return to the mall to its original condition, something that would have never been agreed upon. After years of political wrangling, the Montgomery Ward Anchor Store and mall power plant was demolished while the rest of the dead mall rotted. The rest of the mall was finally torn down and cleared away in 2012.
2012. That's unfortunate.
So, Kyle, while I get some water, why don't you tell me your thoughts and feelings on this movie?
Okay. Oh my gosh, Jimbo.
I know. Call me Kyle.
I'm going to have to clean that one up a little bit. All right, Jimbo. This movie is an 8 out of 10 for me.
Wait a minute. I'm going to choke on that one. Hey, no, let me open this other bottle of water.
You enjoyed the movie? Oh my god, terrible news.
Actually, I'm surprised you only gave it an 8.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you'd be higher.
Oh, no. This movie is a strong 8 out of 10 for me. I think it's really, really great. But at the same time, it's just a pure vehicle of like, hey, let's get some soul and jazz music in here, and let's go from like one comedy bit to another. It's a very standard kind of like SNL to film adaptation kind of schlock. They've done this before and afterwards, and we'll do it again in time. Yeah, I think it's kind of like a subgenre of like the SNL film to the SNL bit to real film kind of factory kind of deal, and this film falls right in there. And so it's never going to be like a high art thing or like a critically acclaimed movie in my mind in that kind of sense. That's why it's only an 8 out of 10, because I think it's really strong at what it does, but what it does is really kind of silly and slapstick. So I respect it on that level too, and as well as also being like just an amazing tribute to R&B music. So I really enjoy it quite a bit. I think the comedy bits are very strong. I think the musical bits are fair. I think they're okay. And overall, this entire film is just pretty darn excellent, and I think it speaks for itself. There's not really much for me to go into that the film doesn't already do itself really, really well. And I think overall, just like besides like the car chase being really memorable on that level, and the ridiculous over-the-topness of the scenes are pretty great too. On a mission from God and all that. So yeah, overall, thoroughly enjoy this film. 8 out of 10 for me. I'll watch it again in the future. Really enjoy it, and I think it's worth watching if you're a movie fan at all. So that being said, let's go downhill.
You notice Kyle's trying to make his longer because he knows what's about to come.
Exactly. So yeah, I have to lead into it. So Jimbo, tell him your thoughts on the film. Your wrong thoughts, terrible thoughts, completely invalid thoughts.
I'm going to say this as nicely as I can, but it's not going to be good. This is one car wreck of a movie, if you will. I've never been a big Belushi. I've never been a big Belushi fan, any of them, and I'm not that big of a Dan Aykroyd fan. I don't think, and it's personal preference. I don't think I like his acting style. And I've seen Ghostbusters. I've seen several films he's been in. Spies Like Us.
Yeah.
He's not my kind of actor. And I said the same thing about Meryl Streep until she finally won me over after watching enough of her movies. The plot for this movie was okay. The problem is the plot didn't just stick to its guns. It had to go above and beyond to a cocaine-induced filled alcoholic rage slash tried to be a musical slash. I mean, you've got the Bluesmobile doing backflips over the neo-Nazis. You've got the Nazis getting popped in the air and flying taller than the Sears Tower. You've got Carrie Fisher blowing stuff up and
with bazookas.
It's just all.
You're selling me on this movie, Jimbo.
It's just all over the place.
Yeah,
it's hard to get a coherent story out of this because, like, Dan Aykroyd's script was 324 pages long, and when he wrote it, he said, there is no plot. It's just a bunch of little segments. And I think what that movie is, and they tried to fit in the music into the movie, and it just kind of felt forced. Kind of, like... I love Ray Charles. I think he was all right in it, especially when he hangs the poster upside down. I mean, that's a little slapstick humor in there. I like Aretha Franklin. I think she did fine in this. Cab Calloway, he was all right. But to me, it was too messy of a movie. It's not going to win any Academy Awards, let's be honest.
No.
If you want to sit down and watch a movie, it's not even really funny.
I think it's pretty funny.
No, I don't think it's really funny. The only funny part is where they go to Kokomo, Indiana, up there to Bob Cooter's or whatever, and they start singing the Rawhide or Stand By Your Man because you got Belushi get the whip off the wall and he does it, smacks the cigarette out of the lady's hand and stuff.
Yeah, but
and the car chase scene, they were okay.
Yeah, I enjoy the absurdity of it all. I think it really adds to the comedy of it for me personally. But yeah.
But you've got to admit it's over the top, Kyle.
Absolutely, but intentionally so.
So, for me, based upon everything I said, I'm probably only going to give this movie, and I haven't rated a movie really low in a long time. But for me, I think this is only a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Ooh.
Will I watch this again? Probably not in my lifetime. I understand it's a cult movie. It's kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't really like that either. You know, I watched it once and I finally made it through it all the way. I probably won't revisit it. I mean, you see several iconic scenes of it, and people may like that stuff. That's fine. I'm not bashing what you like. But for me, like I said, the premise of the story was good. I just need the story. It's too much absurdity going on. It could have been a really good comedy. It really could have. It had high potential. But instead, they were just high. Okay,
I think you made that potential. Okay, yeah.
Well, so I'll probably get a lot of hate mail from this. I can already tell Jackie.
You so disappointed.
Jackie said it's one of her favorite movies. I said, don't hate me. I messaged her while you were. So I said, look what we're doing. She's like, I love that movie. And I was like, well, I said, I'm going to be really hard on it. So, but it's just over the top crazy. The soundtrack's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I think soundtrack's solid.
I listened to that last night, so I thought that was all right. But for this, the Blues Brothers should have been called the Booze Brothers, as I was a boo. But that's my take on it.
Just where you stand.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But hey, I can at least now I can check that off the 100 greatest movies of all time because I watched it.
Exactly,
correct?
You got it done.
And that's why we watched it.
You gave your take on it. That's best. That's all we can ask for.
So next week we are doing a movie that Kyle suggested a long time ago, and we're finally getting around to it. And I actually watched it, and Kyle, I told you, it was actually a really surprising movie. It was really good, and that is Guarding Tess.
All right.
Starring Nicolas Cage and Shirley MacLaine. If you haven't watched that movie, get a jump on it and watch it, because it is a fantastic, fantastic movie that I really enjoyed. So sometimes you pick some, you win. Sometimes you pick some, you lose. So
happy to hear it, Jimbo.
Really good. So
yeah.
If you'd like to reach us, we are thetragedycinema@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we are the Tragedy Cinema Podcast on Facebook. But with that being said, I think this episode's coming to close, and that's a wrap.
And cut. Blues Brothers, more like Snooze Brothers.
Kyle's on a mission with God.